let's go ahead and take you out to Loveland, where leaders are going to give us an update right now on the Alexander Mountain Fire, again, which is the largest fire burning in our state. Let's listen in.
There's still some very rough topography. Fire is still in and amongst the homes, and the threat of fire crossing 34 is still very realistic. So firefighters out there working hard, and over the next coming days we do have some challenging weather with possible thunderstorms coming in, and those thunderstorms initially provide very challenging winds for us. So even though we're having some successes, there's still a lot of challenges out there. Need folks to still respect the closures and the evacuations while this firefight's still going on. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Coyle. I'm one of the operations section chiefs for Southwest Area Team 1. I'm going to go around the fire starting on Highway 34 and let you know in a little bit more detail the efforts that are going on right now, and then talk about some of the contingencies that we're preparing for. So along Highway 34, from where the western edge of the fire that it's reached Highway 34, all the way back to the east of the fire where the fire ties into the canal road, that piece that we put black on the map yesterday, where it's a controlled edge, all of that is looking really good. And what I mean by looking really good is the amount of green pockets from where the unburned fuel is adjacent to the structures or adjacent to the values, the homes in there, has been reduced, or the fire has been put out along those edges. And we expect to add some more containment along Highway 34 back towards the canal road. North of the canal road, where the hand line went up on the east side of the fire above Masonville, tied back into Green Ridge, and then went all the way north to the Cameron Peak fire in the far northeast corner of the actual Alexander Mountain fire. That line is holding. Crews are continuing to patrol that line and to ensure that there's no rollout snags, anything that could cross the line and cause the fire to continue to move east above those homes that are situated just over the edge of that ridge, and then the larger number of homes that are further down the slope in Masonville. From where the fire meets the Cameron Peak fire on the northeast corner across to what's called Jug Gulch, which is a gulch that runs the drainage that runs north towards Spruce Mountain. The fire is checked up along there, along a two-track road inside the Cameron Peak fire. So, now that there's no timber in there and those grassy fields that did move to that, but they had scouts go all the way in back to the Jug Gulch area from the east side all the way to basically midway on the Cameron Peak scar, we're on the north side of the Alexander Mountain fire. And that fire's checked up there. We're going to add some what we call road as line, where it shows that we're using road as a control feature. And they'll continue to patrol that and make sure nothing gets across it, but it's looking real good. Yesterday I talked about if fire moves 1 mile into the Cameron Peak fire scar, that would cause us to reevaluate whether that was an effective control feature. Right now it looks like that is going to be an effective control feature, which is a big win because it gives us a large area that we don't have to focus efforts on in the near future. West of the Jug Gulch, where the fire activity was most pronounced yesterday, all the way across the northern edge of the fire till it goes south into the Cedar Park area. That edge of the fire is also looking really good, where it's bumped into the Cameron Peak fire. So we'll continue to patrol it and ensure that it doesn't move, but so far all indications are that the Cameron Peak fire will hold. Going south from the northwestern corner of the fire all the way until you leave the community of Cedar Park and get on that really steep slope above Highway 34. Efforts over the last several days have been on point protection. So as fire moves around the community, it's been, hey, protect the home, go on and protect the next home. Now what they're working on doing is connecting the dots, basically. So you have all these pieces of fire that you put out around the homes, and then you have unburned portions between them. If we were looking across this field and seeing those portions, it'd be really easy to figure out what's where. It's not that way on the ground. So a lot of effort is being put into tying those pieces of burned areas together to prevent the fire from moving further west into more of the Cedar Park subdivision. So now below Cedar Park and to the east of the road where you access Cedar Park, there near Drake, the fire is continuing to flank, which just means that it's moving perpendicular to or parallel to the slope all the way up Highway 34, still on the north side, still on the side we want it on. However, it's continuing to move to the west. I was happy to hear the aircraft flying over, because that's more retardant that is focused on reducing that rate of spread, so reducing how quickly fire moves to the west. So crews can finish that work I described in Cedar Park, and we can plug them in and focus more on tying that piece off from the top of that very steep drainage all the way back down to Highway 34 over the coming operational periods. Once that's done, and once we're able to secure the edge above Highway 34 where it runs along the highway, then our confidence will increase that fire will not either spot across Highway 34 or spot across the road that goes up into Cedar Park and basically, threaten Cedar Park from that side. So that's where the emphasis is on for the rest of the day. We're also planning for contingencies if fire was to get across 34 and we're not able to immediately suppress it, what actions we could take. And we'll continue that planning and that preparation, along with the planning and prep of homes further up towards Drake and then beyond towards Glenhaven, until such time as we have a high degree of confidence that the fire is secured along Highway 34 and along that whole western edge. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Jason Sieg, S-I-E-G. I'm the Acting Forest Supervisor on the Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forests and Pawnee National Grassland, which is the local forest unit here. I grew up in Larimer County and actually started my career on this forest as a firefighter many years ago. Updating you on our employees across the forest, we have over 100 employees supporting large fires across the west right now, and about half of those employees are assigned to the Alexander Mountain Fire currently. There is there's a lot of risk right now for new starts. There's possibility of lightning coming in the next few days, and so the resources that we still have on the forest, they are available for initial attack and initial response in the event that a fire does start. We will coordinate with the CIMT and the county resources if the need arises. We also have very dry conditions right now, and we have a scarcity of firefighting resources. So today at noon on the Arapahoe and Roosevelt National Forests and Pawnee National Grassland, we entered into Stage 2 fire restrictions. What does that mean, Stage 2? Well, essentially it means there's no open flame of any kind allowed on Forest Service lands unless you're using a device that has an on-off switch. It also means that there's no outdoor smoking on National Forest lands along the Front Range counties and the National Forest lands in Grand County. I want to pause for just a minute and reflect on the last 5 days. This incident has been going on for 5 days, and we've had some difficult days this week. There's a lot of communities affected, and these communities are going through hard times, whether it's the uncertainty around damage to property, being evacuated for multiple days, or even the smoke impacts that we're seeing in the communities, smoke impacts to you directly or maybe a loved one. I just want you to know that I recognize that. I think all of us here standing up here recognize that, and we're in it with you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Larimer County Sheriff John Fan. The last name is F as in Frank, E-Y-E-N. And I have a couple of items here to talk about. So today, the damage assessment teams, we talked about yesterday, that we had lost some structures in Larimer County to the fire. The damage assessment teams were able to get up into the areas where those damages have occurred, make their assessments. As soon as we are finished here today with this press conference, I'll be joining members of our Office of Emergency Management and notifying those folks who have lost their homes or lost other structures of that. So if you get a call from me, my condolences. We will talk about that. We're going to give you some resources and what to do next if you do receive that call. Okay. Like the Forest Service, we are also stretched very thin. There's a lot going on in Larimer County. The fair is going on. We have this big fire going on, and you still depend upon us for law enforcement protection in your communities. So on Wednesday, I also asked the commissioners for fire restrictions, and basically it's just like what the Forest Service described, Director Sieg, right? We talk about no open flames unless it's propane or pressurized gas. I like the way he described it. If it's got an on and off switch and it's open flame, that would be acceptable. If it doesn't have an on and off switch, then it's prohibited in unincorporated parts of Larimer County. We've had some today this evening. We're going to have some evacuation changes. And I'm going to refer you to nocoalerts.org or to the websites for specifics. But basically, the areas around County Road 27 that were voluntary, we're lifting those restrictions, and the areas around Carter Lake that were voluntary, we're lifting those evacuation restrictions as well. Moving a little bit to the west, the first area in that was a mandatory is now a voluntary evacuation. You go further west towards the mouth of the canyon, those still remain mandatory. So rather than me messing up the geographical areas and you wondering, does that mean me or not me, I'm going to refer you to, the NOCO Alerts website, as well as the Larimer.org websites, which will contain that information. But we are lifting some of those evacuation orders. To help us with that, thank you to Governor Polis.
All right, you have just heard from officials there in Larimer County updating us on the Alexander Mountain wildfire, which is burning west of Loveland. You know, there was a little bit of mixed reaction there. I think you and I were both saying how exciting it was to hear that they are making some successes there at that fire, but they also know that they have, you know, a lot of work to do. There's been those structures that are lost, but they believe that the fire line is holding in some areas, and so things are looking really good, and they are expecting more containment, but resources are stretched thin, so they're asking everybody to, of course, don't let your guards down. It is also exciting. We just heard the sheriff sharing that there are going to be some lifting of evacuation orders, especially in the voluntary areas, but there are still some mandatory evacuations in place, and you can find all that information on our website. You can also go to the NOCO Alerts.
And you talked about the containment. He talked about at Highway 34 toward Canal Road, also where it kind of bumped into the Cameron Peak fire.
Right.
They are expecting, that's positive news. We're excited to hear some positive news on the fire front here. And, you know, again, he talked about that huge risk for new fires starting. So, you know, there are stage 2 fire restrictions in place, no open flames of any kind unless you has a device with an on and off switch, and no smoking. So just be aware of that risk for sure.
We'll keep you updated, and we'll be right back.